Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Creative Caution. I'm your host Aladdin, aka Aladdin if you prefer it that way. Now it's been a while since I've last posted on my channel. I've had some other projects and some family matters that have kept me occupied over the months, but I can assure you guys now that everything has been handled and that I'm back, hopefully uploading a little more frequently. I don't want to make this too long regarding my absence, but just know your boy is back and healthy and ready to give you guys some new content, so I hope you're all ready for some new videos on the channel. Anyways, in today's video I want to discuss with you guys all the new news regarding the Netflix live action series Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's a bunch of news I want to discuss with you guys regarding the new casting, visual effects, as well as what we should expect from season 1. Now I won't go over Avatar Studios and all the new info from there in this video, just because I'll make that a separate video where I can go in depth and describe everything that Brian and Michael are doing over there, as well as the upcoming projects that they've got planned for the next upcoming years, so definitely expect that video soon right after this one. Now without boring you to death, let me get this intro stuff out of the way and then we can get right into the video. Now as some of you know, I love doing these giveaways. It's a great way to give back to you guys for spending a few minutes of your day with me, so the least that I can do for all of you is to do a gift card giveaway. The gift card can be whatever you guys want it to be, but I'll be doing a $20 gift card giveaway once we hit 20,000 subscribers. All you gotta do to participate is be a subscriber, like the video, and leave a comment discussing anything that you liked about the video, and that's it. Once we hit our goal of 20,000 subscribers, I'll pick the winner in whatever most recent video I have out, so good luck to everyone. Now lastly, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. It definitely helps out the channel grow and lets others like you stay tuned with the later shows and movies. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys can get notified right away when I drop my next video. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Avatar News for all the information in this video. They're the true MVP here. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, filming for the first season of the live action series has obviously came to a wrap, which basically means right now that they're in their post-production and are editing all the footage that they got over the past few months, along with adding the visual effects now. Don't worry now, this show won't have the same visual effects as the movie, so you can sleep well knowing that tonight. But we won't see anything drop such as a teaser anytime soon. If I had to take a guess, we'll most likely see a little teaser by the beginning of February or March is probably when Netflix will give us a first glimpse into the first season. I could be wrong here, so take this with a grain of salt. However, I am speculating that they will drop the first season around spring or maybe even this summer. Right now, Netflix is just polishing all the footage that they got over the months and making it as perfect as they possibly can. Especially when it comes to the special effects, they'll put most of their effort and time into that area just to make sure that it looks as realistic as possible. Now typically, Netflix shows tend to have around 8 to 10 episodes per season, sometimes even 10. But with this live action, it's been reported that it will contain 8 episodes which will all be an hour long each. This was also confirmed by Paul's son, who's playing Iroh in the live action, where he spoke about the runtime in an interview. But the overall runtime for this season would be around 480 minutes long, which was actually the same runtime as Book 1 Water for the animated series. Each episode for the animated series was around 20 to 24 minutes long, so essentially when you think about it, 8 episodes an hour long each will basically be all of Book 1. Now, I have a feeling that they won't add the filler episodes in the live action, and what I mean by filler, if you don't know, are the episodes that really don't connect with the overall main plot or story. It was almost like little side quests when you think about it. So instead of adding those episodes in the live action, I think the show will most likely just add more dialogue and more character driven scenes in replacement for those episodes, which is fine honestly. I do like the idea of adding more scenes or dialogue for certain characters to progress their character arc in the show and etc. Now, Albert Kim, the new showrunner, did say a while back ago that he was going to expand the world of Avatar, and what that basically meant was diving more deep into the characters and adding more emotion and complexity into them. I absolutely love the idea of adding a bit more complexity into these characters. For example, having Sokka have some sort of doubts about himself where he has to overcome those challenges throughout the season, or even having Zuko a bit more fierce and reluctant throughout his search for the Avatar. Just by expanding the characters and adding a bit more emotions to them, I do feel like that would be a good change and something fresh to see in the live action. Another thing that I wanted to point out is, if they don't add any of the filler scenes in the first season, I do think that the overall season will just be a straight line forward where the gang is first introduced in the Southern Water Tribe, and then their travels heading towards the Northern Water Tribe, along with having Zuko chasing them down and etc. Now, Netflix could also split the first season in half and have it stop where Aang meets Avatar Roku at the winter solstice. By doing this, they can have their second season ending up on when they reach the Northern Water Tribe and deal with Zhao along with saving the Moon Spirit. Either one of these routes can work, but I would prefer if Netflix split the season in half just to give us a bit more content in the upcoming years and so. Now, even though the runtime for each episode is great, I want to discuss another matter with you guys that's very huge, which is the budget for this season. The budget for this season and for each episode is absurd. I mean, Netflix has really stepped it up for this series series and they ain't even holding back. Ever since they saw the success of the animated series on their platform, they decided to put all their marbles on the live action series, in hopes of making it another success like their other shows such as Stranger Things and Cobra Kai. But Paul's son also reported that the live action series of Avatar is a $100 million show with a price tag of $15 million plus for each episode, which is quite ridiculous considering no one knows what to expect from the show yet. But obviously, if Netflix is pouring this much money into each episode, I'm assuming they got something great in store for us, so it's only a matter of time until we get our first glimpse at what they got cooking. There was another report from Avatar News where they reported that the show is even bigger, claiming that it's worth more than $120 million for the first 8 episodes. With this price tag going around, you can easily compare it to Disney Plus's shows such as The Mandalorian as well as the final season of Game of Thrones. It's without a doubt one of the most expensive shows being developed right now, but at the same time, with this budget and the right people behind it, I'm hoping that it can become something great. Also, I'd assume most of this budget is going towards the new virtual production that they announced last year that they were going to be using, so it only makes sense that the budget for each episode is going to be pricey, especially since you're dealing with visual effects being 80% of the show, which includes the locations, animals, bending, and etc. Overall, the budget for this show is enormous, and I really do wonder how they're going to spend all that money on each episode. But since we're on the topic of CGI and the visual effects, I think it should be noted that the visual effects for this series has to be top notch, and I mean to the extent of Marvel's level such as Infinity War and Endgame. And no, I'm not over exaggerating either. This show will heavily revolve around the visual effects and the slightest error will be noticed, so of course I want it to look as perfect as possible. And thankfully, with this new technology that the show will be using, this series will get exactly what it deserves, which is amazing. But that's what I want to discuss with you guys right now, is the latest technology that they'll be using, which will have a heavy toll on how we watch the series. So I made a video way back discussing how the show will be using a custom built facility to capture their visual effects, which is featuring a 23,000 square foot virtual production volume. It's the same technology that was seen on Disney Plus The Mandalorian. The volume, or in other words, virtual production volumes, will feature immersive visual environments, which will also allow expansive visual effects and settings to be experienced instantly on set, and also being captured on camera in real time. So essentially, the special effects team will be able to create real-time effects with the actors and designers at the same time and won't have to wait until the scenes are filmed and etc. They'll be able to contribute their share of work while working with the cast at the same time, which is quite amazing considering previously you weren't able to do that before, since you had to wait and get all the shots taken and then sent to the visual effects team in post-production. Well, not anymore. Now they can easily work side by side with the actors and designers to get the best results in real time. But as stated before, this was already implemented on Disney Plus's The Mandalorian, and from that show alone you could tell how great and mesmerizing the scenery was and the effects. So now imagine this whole volume thing on Avatar The Last Airbender. But if you're still confused with the volume and how it works, take a look at this quick sum up from the Vox where they provide a better understanding of this new production.
The moment you step in the middle of the volume, you're just there.
The volume is the epic-sounding name for the combination of high-resolution LED panels. Imagine awesome, huge TV screens wrapping around a stage, the physical set design matched to the panels, and 3D models plopped into an environment the same way they do in a video game. Then it can respond to camera movement to simulate the real world. Disney Plus's The Mandalorian, a live-action Star Wars TV show, used this technique.
As you can see, the volume could do wonders in real time, so it's only a matter of time until we see the world of Avatar The Last Airbender in the virtual production. Netflix also made an official statement where they said, the series will film a new custom-built facility in Vancouver, designed and operated by Pixelmoto Virtual Production. The state-of-the-art stage is one of the biggest virtual production volumes in North America, with 23,000 square feet of stage space and more than 3,000 LED panels. The virtual stage allows for visual effects to be done in real time in camera, combining multiple environments for a new standard for immersive storytelling. If this doesn't excite you or even geek you out in the slightest bit, well, I hope this next part does, because it's also been reported that the visual effects studio DNEG, Oscar winner for Dune, will be joining the live action, and will be doing the VFX and virtual production for the series. If you aren't familiar with DNEG is one of the most creative, captivating companies out there that have a record of amazing films under their belt, along with winning 6 out of the last 8 Oscars for best visual effects. So that alone should tell you that this series is in good hands when it comes to the VFX and virtual production. DNEG has a multi-year agreement for the live action series, so they're going to be working closely when it comes to the visual effects and production. I'm honestly excited for this because, like I said, I want to see the best visual effects for this series, and I want to be completely immersed while watching it, so who better to do the effects than DNEG? But let me know how you guys feel about all this. I know most fans are still skeptical about the live action, especially when it comes to the visual effects, but I can assure you guys, I do believe that it will turn out great and mesmerizing to watch, so just hold on there and just give it a shot. But lastly, it was also reported that the animals and creatures of Avatar such as Appa and Momo will be a combination of practical effects on set along with CGI in post-production. What this essentially means is we could potentially see puppetry, which was similarly done with Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian. Having puppetry on set can actually help the actors out and get into character a little more due to the fact that they have something to act off of. This can also be enhanced and worked upon in post-production to get the best result with the CGI to make the animals and creatures feel fully alive and natural, which doesn't seem like a bad idea. Anyways, that's the latest news regarding the CGI and visual effects. Now let's get into the next topic, which is the tone and maturity of the show and what we should expect from the first season. Now, Paul's son had a live stream where he spoke about the show's tone, maturity, and target audience for season 1 and how it ultimately compares to the original animated series. He said,
And let's be frank, the first season of Avatar, the animated series, was geared towards little kids. But as the books went on, the themes became way more mature. And you still have that whimsical quality for little kids, which was awesome. But the themes are so much deeper, and the character arcs are so heartbreaking and so much more mature. And I think that quality they're trying to bring into the first season of Avatar.
Now, I think implementing the tone to be a bit more serious is a proper change and should be experimented with. Don't get me wrong, I love and respect how book 1 was for the animated series, but to be fair, I don't want to see that in the live action series. I want to see something new and fresh, but with the same storyline and character driven scenes. So having the tone and maturity being a bit more serious, I'm all for it. Go all out and explore themes that weren't in the animated series of the show. Try something new and explore with it. See, this is where I'm kind of at right now with this whole show. I really want fans to understand that it's alright to explore new things and change. As long as they keep the overall foundation what the show stands for, then everything else is fair game. Just don't mispronounce the names of the characters, otherwise we'll have to riot on that. But I'd like to know how you guys feel about the tone and maturity of the series being changed, and how you think it might impact the show going forward. Let me know in the comment section below. But finally, let's get into what most of you came here for, and that's to see who all joined the live action series. As I stated in the beginning of the video, there's a number of new cast members joining the series, and I was quite blown away with some of these announcements as well. And thankfully now, Netflix has also confirmed all of these new actors are joining the series. But before I announce all of the new cast members, Emmy Award-winning costume designer Farnaz Kaki Sadi, sorry if I butchered her name, but posted on her Instagram a photo where she showcased her appreciation of being a part of the show. However, what's intriguing about her photo is what she captioned. She said that there's at least 130 plus cast members, which isn't even including the stunt doubles or extras. Now those 130 plus cast members are simply either main characters or supportive characters, such as Aang, Zuko, Katara, and then supportive characters such as Jet, Zhao, and etc. Regardless, 130 plus characters for the first season is crazy. I didn't even expect that much, to be honest. But it does seem like for the first season they're going to introduce more characters from book 2 and book 3. Maybe just tease certain characters but not actually have a whole dedicated storyline for them right away. Anyways, let me first introduce all the new cast members that are going to be from book 1 of Avatar, and then after that I'll mention the characters from book 2 that will also be making an appearance in the first season. So let's begin. Sorry in advance if I do mispronounce any of these names. But first up we got Rue Iskander will be playing Lieutenant G. As a first impression, I feel like Rue might look a bit younger to play the lieutenant, but it just might be this image which is kind of throwing me off. However, he does have similar facial features to the character, such as his jawline and his overall shape of his head. Obviously with the makeup crew, they're gonna age him up where he'll look more like the lieutenant, so I feel like this casting was a good choice when it comes to appearance wise. We also get a photo of him sitting next to Dallas Liu, who's gonna be playing Zuko, and Paul's son, who's playing Iroh, which we know that these three will be sharing some screen time in the first couple of episodes. Now, I'm not quite sure how many scenes Rue will have as the lieutenant, but I would like to see him have some sort of fight scene with Zuko just to prove his worth. In the animated series, he didn't have that much room to shine, so I think in the live action they can change that and perhaps add an exhibition between Zuko and the lieutenant. I'd love to see more raw emotion between the two and their pure despise for each other. It would just build up the two characters even more throughout the season, and I feel like that would be a great pace of change if anything else. But I do wonder how all three of these guys will do on screen together and how their performances bounce off one another. Moving on. Next up, we got A. Martinez, who will be playing one of the greatest waterbenders in the world, which is debatable of course, Master Paku. Now first impression, he looks almost identical to Paku. Now just imagine when he's in full costume and has that actual look of Paku, he'll look just like his twin. So I definitely think they nailed this casting choice. Now I'm not familiar with his work that much, but his overall look and appearance has me sold. I do hope that we get to see more scenes of him in the first season. It was kind of a shame that in the animated series we only saw him a handful of times, so I would like to see Martinez's character for this season hopefully get more screen time than in the animated series. That's kind of my only wish when it comes to him playing Master Paku. Next up, we got Amber Mid-Thunder, who will be playing the beautiful Princess Yu from the Northern Water Tribe. Plus, she just starred in the most recent Predator film Prey, which has so far received well reviews. Overall, I don't have that much to say regarding this casting. I mean, her appearance looks very similar to the princess, and once they apply all the makeup and costume on her, she's gonna look just like the princess. Now, this one might make you all happy, but we finally have our King Boomy casted, and the actor playing Boomy is no other than Utkarsh Budkar. I don't really have that much to say regarding Utkarsh and his appearance, just because he's gonna be mainly in complete costume and makeup to get the final look of Boomy all aged up and etc, so I can't say much regarding that. However, he's only gonna be in one episode for the live action according to IMDb, so I'm assuming that whole episode will be entirely dedicated to him along with taking place in a Mashu, so definitely expect a lot of character driven scenes for that episode. What I'm hoping to see is more background story on Boomy and maybe seeing his journey on how he became King Boomy and all. Overall, I haven't really seen much of Utkarsh's work, but he is a notable actor who has some good work under his belt, so I am stoked to see how he performs as Boomy in the live action. Next up, we got a special one. We finally have our avatar Roku casted, and it's being played by no other than C.S. Lee. So far, this means that we have a full avatar cycle complete for the first season, and yes, Avatar Korok will be in the first season as well. But I'll get into him here shortly, just because his character will play a significant role in the series. Anyways, C.S. Lee casted as Avatar Roku does seem like a good casting to me. He has the look of Roku, and from his other work, he knows how to capture that compassionate leader role, so I can't wait to see how he works with this character. Some notable works of his are Showtime Dexter, HBO's True Detective, as well as Apple TV's For All Mankind. I'm not quite sure how many episodes we're gonna see Lee in, but according to IMDb, it does say that he's only gonna be in one episode, so I'm guessing that's gonna be the episode where Aang goes to the Fire Temple to meet with Avatar Roku. Either way, I hope they extend that scene a little more and provide more context and interaction between the two, just because now they're gonna have more time and freedom to try new things to make it a bit different than the animated series. But since we're on the topic of the Avatar cycle, I do think it's a good time to finally let you guys know that yes, Avatar Korok will be in the first season and will have an expanded role in the series. The actor playing Avatar Korok will be Miguan Fairbrother. Now, I don't know that much about him personally. The only thing that I know about him is that he's an indigenous Ojibwe actor. However, appearance-wise, I think he looks like a good fit to play Korok. Can't say much regarding of him just because I haven't heard of him until now. But also, speaking of Avatar Korok, he wasn't even mentioned in Book 1 Water. Only time he was ever mentioned or teased was his slight spirit appearance in Book 3 Fire along with the Legend of Korra Book 2 Spirits. Korok's story was also explored a bit more in the Kyoshi novels, so I'm assuming that they're going to incorporate some of that new material in the first season. This would give us a bit more background story on his journey, just because he wasn't even explored at all in the first season of the animated series. So it would be a nice new touch for fans to get a glimpse of the previous water avatar. But what do you guys think about Miguan being casted as Avatar Korok? Now next up, we got Katara and Sokka's parents. Now for these two characters, they won't necessarily have that much screen time in the first season, just because they'll most likely be in the flashbacks just like they were in the animated series for the first season. Actually, that's false. We'll most likely see more of Hakoto, their dad, than their mom, just because the mom was killed when Katara and Sokka were young. However, the producers could switch this up and provide us with a different storyline for them. They could even then explore new areas with the parents and maybe even add them into the journey of Aang and his friends. But anyways, the actress playing Katara and Sokka's mom, Kaya, will be Rainbow Dickerson. According to IMDb again, she will be in episode 3 and 5, so expect to either see some sort of flashback scenes from her in those episodes. Now, fun little fact, Rainbow and Guy Wendio have already worked together in a film called Beans, where Rainbow plays Kai Wendio's mom, so the fact that she's playing Kai Wendio's mom once again in the live action series is quite crazy and cool. Now the actor playing their dad, Hakoto, will be Joel Mountgrand. Joel is reported to be in episode 1 and 5, so I'm assuming scenes where they find him or either flashbacks of some sort. But fun little fact about him as well is that he was also a part of the film Beans with Rainbow and Guy Wendio, and he played the father figure of Kai Wendio's character in that film, so all three of them are already familiar with one one another, and have already played a family role with each other, so the fact that they're reuniting for this series and playing another family role once again is really cool, and I can't wait to see how they bounce off each other's performances. Next up, we got Danny Pudi, who will be playing the Mechanist. If you don't recall who that is again, he's the inventor and engineer from the Earth Kingdom. He ends up becoming a refugee after being hit by a flood. He would end up moving to the Northern Air Temple to seek refuge there, while also living in poverty as a widower and taking care of his son Theo. However, while staying at the Northern Air Temple, he would end up being blackmailed by the Fire Nation into building advanced weapons for the Fire Nation. Anyways, that's a quick summary of who the Mechanist is and what his character is essentially in the show. Next up, we got a huge fan favorite, which is the Cabbage Merchant, or aka the Cabbage Man. The actor who will be playing the Cabbage Merchant will be James C. Now, I want to know how they're going to incorporate the Cabbage Merchant for this live action. I don't know if they'll have him just roaming around the world and Aang and the gang just stumble upon him constantly ruining his cabbages, or will there actually be some sort of storyline directly dedicated for the Cabbage Merchant? I feel like adding him a part of the overall main story would be quite interesting, but at the same time, I do like the little cameos of him just popping out of nowhere. Either way, I'm definitely excited to see how James brings the Cabbage Merchant to life. Next up, we got Arden Cho, who will be playing June, the Shirshu riding bounty hunter. If you don't remember who June was again, she was the bounty hunter that Zuko hired to track down Aang after obtaining Katara's scent from her necklace. She first appeared in episode 15, Bato of the Water Tribe of Book 1 Water, so I'm assuming for the live action series we'll most likely see her around episode 5 or 6. Next up, we have Nathaniel Arcane, who will be playing Chief Arnuk, Princess Yu father. Now, I can't say much about Nathaniel just because I haven't seen much of his work, but I would like to see the live action give his character a bit more screen time. Next up, we have Joe Auletti, who will be playing Han. Now, Han is from the Northern Water Tribe, and he was arranged by Chief Arnuk to marry his daughter Princess Yu. Han to some extent is like Sokka. Both men are considered to be hardworking warriors, they're both now waterbenders, however, they both want to please their superiors and mentors. Hopefully you can sort of see the resemblance in the two. Next up, we have Irene Bedard, who will be playing Yagada. If you don't recall who Yagada is, she was the waterbender from the Northern Water Tribe where she specialized in the art of healing. She taught young women the art of healing and how to use their waterbending abilities in various ways to heal others. What's really fascinating about her is that she shares a surprising connection with Katara and Sokka, due to their grandmother Kana being friends with her a long time ago. Now, in the animated series, we didn't get to see Yagada as much, so I'm hoping in the live action that they're gonna give her some more screen time with Katara, along with maybe telling Katara more stories about her grandmother and just building that relationship up. Next up, we got a new character that'll be introduced into the series, Fire Navy Officer Lieutenant Dang. The actor who will be playing Lieutenant Dang will be Ryan Ma. Now, Lieutenant Dang was never mentioned or introduced in the animated series of Book 1, so having him a part of the live action actually opens up a lot of new doors for the producers to work with. This means that they can introduce new and original characters that can make the show feel refreshing and new. The photo that you see Ryan next to is just an example of what you should expect this character to look like. He won't look exactly like that image, but it's just something that you can hopefully visualize and expect to see from his character. Next up, we have Francois Chow, who will be playing the Great Sage of the Fire Temple. I personally haven't seen any of Francois' films or shows, but he's been in the TV series Lost in the Expanse, DC's film Birds of Prey, as well as Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon. Next up, we have Lucian River Chauhan, who will be playing Theo, the Mechanist's son. I honestly like this casting choice. I feel like Lucian has that look of Theo and can execute this performance very well. But then again, this is just my opinion, so we're just gonna have to wait and see how he does. Next up, we have George Takei, who will be playing Koid the Face Stealer. Now, fun little fact about George is he was already a part of the Avatar universe by being one of the voice actors in the animated series of Avatar: The Last Airbender. He was the voice actor for the Fire Nation's Colonel Prison Warden in Book 1 Water. Now, I personally haven't seen any of George's work, but he's definitely been around for a while and has some notable works under his belt, such as being a part of Star Trek and Mulan. Next up, we have Randall Duke Kim, who will be playing the Knowledge Spirit. This character I'm definitely stoked to see, just because I want to see how the CGI department and visual effects execute this character. Anyways, regarding Randall, he's best known for his roles in The Matrix, Kung Fu Panda, and the John Wick films. Next up, we have Jaden Shang, who will be playing one of the young airbenders from Aang's flashbacks. Now, this character was one of the students from the Southern Air Temple where Aang was teaching them how to create an air scooter. I'm not sure how many scenes Jaden will have, but I'm assuming it'll most likely be a little if they're just doing flashbacks of Aang back at the Southern Air Temple. Next up, we have Hiro Kanagawa, who will be playing Fire Lord Sozin. First impression, I think he has that appearance of Sozin. He has that menacing look which I feel like captures that whole demeanor of Sozin. Now we won't see Sozin in the present moment. He'll mainly be in the flashbacks with Roku, where we're gonna learn more about his story and how he hung out with Roku at the time. Hopefully the live action provides more flashbacks between the two. Next we have Sebastian Amoruso, who will be playing Jet. Now Jet to me is a character that I've always liked growing up. He has that cool demeanor, isn't afraid of anything, and is always up for a challenge. Now what I'd like to see is more screen time for Jet. In the animated series, Jet had an entire episode dedicated to him, so I'm wondering if they're gonna do the same thing for the live action, or if they'll just cut down some scenes to fit other characters in. I feel like the show could give us more depth into Jet's character and the struggles that he's facing. Now for these last two actors, I'll just announce them together since they're always together in the show, and I think you guys know who I'm talking about as well. So first up we have Talia Tran, who will be playing Mei, and Momona Tomato, who will be playing Ty Lee. Now first of all, Mei and Ty Lee were never mentioned or seen in the first season of the animated series, so the fact that we'll see the two of them along with Azula just showcases that the show will be moving pretty quickly, but also isn't wasting any time in introducing these characters early. I think that's a good thing since the episodes will be an hour long each and there will be more room to work with, but also it'll be good to introduce these characters earlier than waiting for a whole new season just to introduce someone new. But the fact that we'll see the iconic three Azula, Mei, and Ty Lee in the first season is still wild to me. Overall, I do like the casting choices for both Talia and Momona. Now if you made it this far into the video, hit that like button for all the newest cast members that have joined the live action series. I know the list was pretty long, but we finally got through it. However, I do want to know what you guys thought about all the newest cast members. But that's all of the latest information and news regarding Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series at Netflix. Definitely a lot of new news to unpack here, but at the same time, it is exciting that all this is coming to place and we'll get to see what Netflix has been cooking behind doors here soon. But now, this is where I want you guys to tell me what you guys are most excited about. Are you excited that the episodes will be longer, or that the tone of the show might be slightly more mature compared to the animated series? Or are you most excited about the newest cast members? Let me know in the comments section how you guys feel about all this. Overall, I'm just happy that this is all looking like it's heading into a good direction. I know some of you are still skeptical, which I totally understand and get, but all I could say is give Netflix and the series a shot and let's see what they can do. I don't want to bash them or give them any hate just because so far everything has been solid. From the latest cast members to the direction of the tone, especially the way that the special effects will be handled. It just seems like Netflix will do everything in their power to make this work for the fans, and I honestly am willing to give them a shot. Hopefully you guys can too. Also, you might be wondering when are we gonna get the first trailer for the live action, and to be honest, it could be sooner than later, which is why I'm speculating it to drop in the next couple of weeks or in the beginning of February. I think Netflix hasn't showcased anything yet just because of the hype train of Avatar: The Way of Water. So the moment that dies down, we'll most likely get our first glimpse into the live action. So be on the lookout for that here soon, just because you know your boy's definitely gonna have that covered for you guys. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for this video. In the next Avatar video, I'll discuss all the new info and projects from Avatar Studio and what Brian and Michael have in store for the future. So definitely be on the lookout for that video here soon. But before I go, don't forget about that $20 gift card giveaway that I'll be doing once we hit 20,000 subscribers. All you gotta do to participate is be a subscriber, like the video, and leave a comment discussing anything that you liked about the video. Once we hit 20,000 subscribers, I'll pick the winner in whatever most recent video I have out, so good luck to everyone. But finally, I just want to say thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't by now. Also, hit that notification bell so you guys can get notified right away when I drop my next video. If you don't mind, share the video if you thought it was good and want others to see it. Thank you all once more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.